What is up? It is Andy coming to you with your Thursday night NHL and Thursday night NFL stuff. We got a little bit of both today. We got to try to consolidate time. There are only so many hours in a day that I could be in the bunkers, look things up, and make these videos and get these videos out to you. So if you're wondering, why was there no Wednesday video for that all-important one Philadelphia Flyers Washington Capitals game? Because there's only so many hours I can spend in the bunkers, and if I have to sit here, hit record, pull the string like a wind-up doll, oh, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals, this dead-ass game? Oh, I take the Philadelphia Flyers. They lost game one. I bet you they'll be sparked up. Tortorella's got them going. Let's take the Flyers for game two. Give me a connect. Shut up! No! I always tell you, people, don't force sniffs. Do you listen? Absolutely not. You have 75 bets on that Wednesday game, didn't you? Didn't you? Well, regardless of how many bets you had in on Wednesday, it was a significantly less amount than you did on Tuesday, which didn't go well. Tuesday night did not go well. There's going to be many, many other bad nights. Oh, did your line combinations lose for the first time in 5 nights? Are you so pissed off that if you played every single one for a week now, you'd be up $3,000? Opposed to $4,000 after one bad night? Take out your frustrations on me. Don't take them out on Bobby's spreadsheets, okay? Because he's just a nice boy up there in Ottawa or something. He's just tracking sheets. Don't come at him. Don't kill the spreadsheet messenger, all right? You can take your gargoyle fury out on me like somebody I saw the other day. Last time I take this guy seriously, sir, or I shouldn't call you sir because that would actually mean that you're some sort of human being. I have a question for you. Let's say theoretically I started every single video not sitting in this chair. You just saw this and it was blank, and then I stepped in, I slid in like Chris Collinsworth and said, oh guys, I got some great picks for you today. Let's say you just saw this background, so chair, microphone, and everything behind you, and somebody said, is this a person we should be taking seriously? There's a Freddy Krueger glove behind me with magnetic noses hanging off of each blade. If you take me seriously, I think that says a little more about you. So with that said, let's go into another night of NHL, NFL sniffs. Now, with the NHL tonight, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with NFL, but quick note on the NHL, a little tease to what's to come in a few minutes. So far, since the beginning of the season, I told you, look, anybody can win any single game. It's all nonsense. So I tried teaching you guys about all these player props, how to target great line combinations, target those defensemen, guys like Gostisbehere, another point last night, plus money points for all those guys early in the season. You know what to look for now as the season progresses. It's also that when we get to the real hockey part, right around Thanksgiving, when I'm listing these things, in the comments, everyone, what about, who is he? Where is that? Where do I do that? I'm introducing you to these things. Now, a whole bunch of you know where to get your line combinations. You know which sportsbooks have it. You know which don't. I'm trying to make that clear so later in the year, you know where to fetch all these bets. Because as I keep saying, hockey's a weird one. Each different type of bet is on each different type of sportsbook. It is one of the most important sports if you're betting on to have accounts on pretty much all the sports books, except for BetMGM, and I'm sorry to rip on you, BetMGM, if a random BetMGM guy... Actually, no. If you're a BetMGM employee or you're affiliated with BetMGM, I'm going to look you right in your eye and say your sports book when it comes to hockey is a bottom-of-the-barrel absolute trash. But it doesn't have to be that way. There have been other sports books, they add something, and I go, this is unbelievable. This is... That's all it takes. And all you have to do is add real features to your same game parlay. You think anyone wants to just take a whole bunch of goal scorers? Add real features to your same game parlays. There's no player points. There's no shots on goal. You have nothing. You have a grand total of nothing. And then I got to see you run advertisements on some of these games. Anyway, that's a whole separate argument. Send it over to BetMGM. So today we're learning about one of my favorite things. People have been clamoring for it. There's a certain song attached to it. And that is taking unders on games that we project to be low scoring. We saw quite a few of those during the Frozen Frenzy, the worst name ever. Wow. Looks like I'm turning into somewhat of a gargoyle myself. But anyway, you saw how many games can potentially be low scoring during that frozen frenzy. I am an unders guy myself. You've seen me take a couple overs. Trust me, it kills me on the inside to do that. Anybody who's been betting with me for a long time knows this is the home of the clenched ass cheeks theory. It's all unders all the time, and on this slate, I know you see some of those same ones that I do, and we're going to take some unders, and we're going to find them at a decent price. We're going to use some of my tricks, the Andy tricks, to get unders on games that aren't priced in a way we're going to be happy with, how to knock those down so that when the season really gets going, oh, I got the point props, I got the unders, and I take this here, take that, you'll know where to do everything. So with that said, let's start with some Thursday night football. We got Vikings-Rams. This one's actually pretty interesting. Rams, after the bye, got a win. That's what they did last year. Started awful, came back after the bye, went on a run, and actually made the playoffs. Is that going to happen again? Not so sure. It's kind of a different team. We will see. They are getting Cooper Kupp back. And on the other side, you have the Vikings, lost for the first time, played pretty well in that game, and they're looking to kind of get back on the right track. Maybe TJ Hawkinson will be back in this game as well. If you are to trust the spread, this game is going to be pretty close. Only within a couple points on that spread, despite the disparity in record. It is in LA, despite the fact that LA really has no home games. Nobody cares over there, trust me. But in this game, I know you guys, I know what you're looking at. You're looking at the same thing that I was looking at because they keep doing it. I mean, hey, look, they're doing it again. The best part about it, I was going to start singing that Folgers song. The best part about it is we really don't have to think hard. You don't have to scratch your head, oh, what do I bet in this game? It's been the same thing every week all season. Show me some low totals, depreciated values on players we know are good. We knew Josh Palmer was good. We saw it last year. He had an injury-plagued early start of the year when we learned that Quentin Johnston was out, Hayden Hurst was out. So we have a healthy Palmer, had like 30-something yards the previous week. You knew he was going to be relied upon. His total was in the 30s. We hit the over. We hit the alt over number 1, alt over number 2. This has been the case all year long. And then when we got to say goodbye to somebody, we'll say goodbye. We wave goodbye to Olave. We wave goodbye to Rashee Rice. We've even had to wave goodbye to Zay Flowers recently. We're like Ajax in the Netherlands. Our stars aren't staying here. Eventually, when their prices are too high, you know, we're sending them to Chelsea or Liverpool or something. But we got Addison once again, 39.5 receiving yards. This is not some carny receiver. I told you last week he can pretty much nail this on 2 catches. He nailed this in 1 catch. So that's another beautiful thing. If he's got 5 yards midway through the 4th quarter, he's the type of guy that can eradicate that instantly. So give me that over 39.5 receiving yards for Jordan Addison. And then also the slight alt over. This alt over is so low, my personal line on this player would be, I would list him at 47.5. But if they're listing him at 39, okay, give me the 39.5 and then give me the over 45.5 for plus money. Then elsewhere, look, I don't want to do it, but unless there's a multitude of sniffs I like on my own, I mean, they worked out. This has hit every game outlier bet. Trust me, I'm like you. I see something on a screen, I go, oh, that's losing. That's losing. That's showed to the whole country on that screen. That's losing. But there are many of them. So what I do is I look at the ones that I agree with the most, the personal bias. And when I see, okay, this is hit every single week and I like it. All right, let me try it. It worked for the Lamar over on longest rush, and it worked for the under longest reception for Greg Dortch. So let's see if these outlier plays work again. The 2 that stood out to me was the under on passing attempts for Sam Darnold. I kind of like that one. Although they are a pass-happy team, they are extremely efficient. Their pass catchers are so good, and they run so many deep routes. It makes sense to me that he doesn't have to nickel and dime his way down the field. So the under on passing attempts for Sam Darnold, which has hit every single game so far this year, yeah, that's worth a little slice or 2. And then the second one, Tutu Atwell, over 39.5 receiving yards. That one has hit every week. Unless I read that incorrectly, you would think, okay, but Cooper Kupp is coming back. I think that actually helps it because he wasn't playing the Cooper Kupp role. If anything, this frees up Tutu Atwell even more so down the field. So I will take that over for Tutu Atwell. The only thing that worries me is this is a team that blitzes a lot. They blitz it a ton, so maybe Stafford, he'll have to get out of his hands 1, 2, 3, which brings me to my second sniff. I like the over on completions for Matt Stafford. You got a blitzing team not one of these idiotic new school quarterbacks who doesn't know how to read a defense and then audible and check things that are going to be open quickly. Stafford is one of those last remaining guys. And I believe if Flores sends a bunch of blitzes at him, and with Cooper Kupp coming back, just little completions. So give me the over 21.5 completions for Matthew Stafford. Little juice on that. What are you going to do? But there's no juice on the alt completions, 25 plus at plus money for Matthew Stafford. Now let's take things to the ice, where I will be introducing you to some of my unders theories and how I go about getting good prices on unders. There are a couple unders that stand out to me on this slate. The first team I'm going to talk about are the Boston Bruins, who just got shut out. If a team got shut out, they're not oozing confidence offensively. And I think that's an understatement when it comes to the Boston Bruins, who their offensive metrics are downright terrible across the board so far this season. They're almost lucky to have the record that they do. They got a lot of production from their bottom line. And as soon as that ran dry, these losses are starting to pile up for the Bruins. And they're about to play a team who's getting some of the best goaltending in the NHL, a team who always plays good defensively, and a team that's coming off a loss, their first loss, I believe, and that's the Dallas Stars. This game is in Boston. You got Dallas going in there, and I'm taking the plus money under 2.5 goals for the Boston Bruins. You might think that sounds crazy, but considering the teams and how awful Boston's playing offensively, I actually think this is a worthwhile sniff. And I told you guys before the year, the Bruins are far removed from that team from 2 years ago. There was a reason I told you 108.5 points for David Pastrnak for this season was preposterous. The 52.5 goals for David Pastrnak is preposterous for this team. So with the Bruins struggling offensively, give me the under 2.5 on their team total. You don't need anything for that. Then we got the Rangers playing the Panthers. When you have two teams who met in the conference final and two teams who are favored to be in the conference final again, you're never going to get true playoff intensity in these regular season games. But if there's anything that's going to come close, it's going to be these statement games. The Rangers have not lost a single game in regulation yet. The Panthers, it seems like in those games, in the statement games, like these games with Boston and games that they really seem somewhat motivated for, you see those Panthers type of efforts. But this game between the Rangers and Panthers, I will not be surprised at all. Despite the fact the Rangers have scored 4 goals in every single game, I would not be surprised if this game is more of a tight checking variety. There is no Barkov still, but I really want to go with the under 6.5 in this game. Now, in this particular game, what trick can I use to try to bring this price down? Because while we can take the 6.5 on its own, I'm not really loving that price. Something that I would like to do in this game, this is the reverse trickle-down snakeonomics. I told you guys about when there's promotions, you take that guy, but remember, a promotion means a demotion for somebody else. So Matthew Tkachuk came back in the last game. He got tossed up top with Bennett and Verhaeghe, and then the second line was Lundell, Luosterainen with Sam Reinhart. Who does that leave out? Evan Rodrigues, third line, second power play, off on his own down there. So I want the under 6.5 goals with the under half of a point for Evan Rodrigues. That will get you that under 6.5 in plus money. And there's obviously correlation between the under half of a point and the under 6.5. So I think that's one sneaky way to take an under at plus money. But that's not the real nice one. That's not the one that can actually take a 5.5 and you can take a 6.5 and get a decent price on it, because that's what I see in this Winnipeg game. We got Winnipeg facing the artist formerly known as the Cockroach Kraken. Winnipeg, they're pretty reliable every single year during the regular season. Defensively, I don't want to say it's automatic, but they're good at holding teams to 2 or fewer, especially if Connor Hellebuck is in net. I wouldn't be surprised if this one also stays under 6.5. The trick that I'm going to use to get this from a 5.5 to a 6.5 is the one that's only available on FanDuel. It's the only site that offers this, and that's no goal in the first 5 minutes with the alt under at 6.5. No goal in the first 5, under 6.5. Other sites, they'll offer you no goal in the first 10. That's way too much of a sweat. But when you know that the first period is going to start 5-on-5, it's not like there's an immediate power play, I think that's a good snaky way to get a good price on a 6.5 that's priced awfully. I mean, you can use a strategic player point you're going to have those opportunities on some of these teams. But regardless, I want the under 6.5 with no goal in the first 5 minutes of the first period in this Kraken-Winnipeg game. And then one last under that I like is the under 2.5 goals for the Calgary Flames. The Carolina Hurricanes, they're a team kind of like the Winnipeg Jets. During the year, you can almost always trust them defensively. When they are playing well defensively, you kind of know the effort you're going to get from them. They held Edmonton in Edmonton to under 2.5 goals. You're always going to get good defense from Brenda Moore teams. And Calgary, while they're playing kind of above their head right now, playing above their weight class, I mean, they had 2 goals against Pittsburgh, one of the worst defensive teams, and then they score one with the empty net. But with Carolina going in there, I think they should be able to hold them to under 2.5. So give me the under 2.5 goals for the Calgary Flames at plus money. It's an unders type of Thursday as far as the NHL is concerned. Good luck to you. Yes, of course, better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel here. Give me those clicks if you like these videos. As I said the other day, you click, I sniff. If you want to join the Patreon, that's where I'll be posting extra stuff. We're still doing the line combinations. They're going on every single night. Hopefully you guys know how to do those, but if not, you go join the Patreon. There's always chats going on. That's where I post extra stuff. And it's a pretty entertaining place. Somebody said, this guy's got to be 50. He goes, man, this is way better than Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in 20 years, but that guy is, and he's loving the Patreon. Maybe you will too. Hopefully I see you there. If not, no worries. I will see you tomorrow for another round of NHL Sniffs. And we also got a Dave and a Dan Week 8 coming very soon. Take it easy. I will talk to you then.